All right, everybody, good morning. We made it to Tuesday, the first Tuesday after the Seahawks season has ended, and we are going to do one final Youth Watch Tuesday. And not only are we going to take a look at what happened in this most recent week, where we did see several of the young Seahawks players step up and contribute meaningfully, but we're also going to try to look at things in totality to understand what we're sitting on, to understand that in some regards, the future on this team is bright. There are some regards where this team's future is not bright, and unfortunately, I think those things are going to be enough to outweigh this. But there is some upper level potential here with this roster in terms of its young players. All right, so let's start with the running backs like we always do. You guys know how we do things around here. First year and second year players. Running backs, we got two. Well, three, but the third one didn't play at all this year. So we'll come back to that later. But Ken Walker played well against the Cardinals, ended up with something like 80 yards from scrimmage, close to it. I thought he played extremely well in terms of his improvisational skills. I thought he did a great job making something out of nothing. And by the end of that game, we were down, so he wasn't really able to do that much because we needed to throw the ball a lot. And Charbonnet also played pretty well. He had some productive carries and some productive catches. It was actually one of his best games of the year. And he was a very meaningful part of that offense that was able to come back and win that game. He, I believe, caught a couple passes on the game-winning touchdown drive, and yeah, he just continues to grind along and do his job. So, in totality, this Seahawks team is sitting on three young running backs, one of which is coming off now an almost 1,200-yard season, 9 touchdowns, really good PFF grade, and Zach Charbonnet, a rookie running back coming off an almost 700-yard season, with almost a 70 PFF grade. So that is a really strong foundation for your backfield. And both these guys, I mean, Walker's playing really well, but I don't know if he's playing well on the I'm going to get an extension after year 3 level. He might be a 4-year on his rookie deal guy. So Walker, probably looking at another 2 years as of right now on that rookie deal. Charbonnet's got 3 more years on his rookie deal. These guys are going to be around for a while, and they're good. I mean, this is a running back situation that most other teams in the NFL don't have or even come close to having. So, definitely optimistic about where this is. And Kenny McIntosh, who basically redshirted this year, but a lot of people like him. I like him. I'm intrigued by him. I want to see what he can do going forward into 2024, but this year wasn't the year for him, and that's somewhat understandable. Okay, now we go to wide receivers. You've got basically two guys because Derek Young barely played this year, and when he did play, all he did was block. Didn't really get a chance to make any kind of an impact. So you've got JSN, who did not have a big game against the Cardinals. He had like 3 catches for less than 20 yards, and actually had a drop, I think, on a bubble screen. So he ends his season with 63 catches for 630 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then you got Jake Bobo, who caught 1 pass for 9 yards against the Cardinals. Almost got to 200 yards from scrimmage on the season. Couldn't quite gut it out, but 1 short, same difference. So this team is also bringing into the 2024 a rookie receiver. Next year he'll be a second-year receiver, but a second-year receiver who just had a 60-catch, 600-yard season on a team where he was behind Metcalf and Lockett. I know these stats are not amazing for a rookie wide receiver, 63 catches, 630 yards. I know it's not over the top. But when you consider the fact that we have DK Metcalf and we have Tyler Lockett ahead of him, it's actually pretty dang good. It's pretty impressive. So we are definitely good there. And you've got whatever Bobo is. And I don't know what Bobo is. Maybe he's just wide receiver 4 and a special teamer. Maybe he can become a top 3 guy at some point on a productive passing offense. I don't know. But Jake Bobo, I mean, the blocking stuff really puts it over the top, right? The production's cool, but really what we're talking about is the blocking with him. So really good stuff there. Really exciting stuff to be carrying into the future. So skill position-wise, we are killing it in terms of our young players. Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. Cross and Bradford were the ones who played in this game. Cross played okay, I think. Forgettable, but again, I want to stress this. I'm not going to hold anything too hard against Cross this year because I know he was playing through turf toe for most of the year. So Get healthy next year. Get ready to go. It's year 3. Time to hit the ground hard, hit the ground running. And if you are a Pro Bowl or All-Pro type left tackle, next year's the year we should start to really see that. And maybe your ceiling's a little lower than that, and that's could be okay too. But given the fact that he played about 80% of the snaps, you look at what he did this year: 5 penalties, 42 pressures allowed. Run block grade is not very good, but his grade overall improved a little bit, which, given the fact that he was playing through turf toe, impressive. So I'm good with Cross, happy with the Cross stuff is. Now, Bradford had a pretty okay game against the Cardinals. He didn't allow any pressures. He had no penalties. His PFF grade actually went up a few points. So, decent game by him. He's got a long way to go, but there is upper level potential here. So, again, I look at this offensive line and I ask myself, what are we carrying forward into 2024? You've still got the bookend tackles, and I know that Lucas barely played this year. But for the moment, we can reasonably conclude he is a bookend tackle, and next year's kind of the rubber match. Next year is, okay, are you going to be the guy we can depend on going forward, or are you going to be the guy that we can't depend on going forward? I don't think this team is going to be giving up on him now, and I don't think they should. And you've got, at the minimum, 2 guys who should be interior offensive line depth on on the first year of their rookie deal. Oluwatimi and Bradford. Both those guys, minimum, are depth, quality depth. Maybe they could end up being starters. We're going to have to see. So, this is not a bad situation to be in. We don't have a young quarterback. We don't have young tight ends. But we're doing pretty well in youth pretty much everywhere else on this offense. All right. Now we're going over to the defense. And this is where things drop off a little bit on the front lines. The only young defensive lineman we really had play this year was Cam Young. He actually played a lot against the Cardinals. Now, according to PFF, he actually played a good game. His grade jumped to 59. He picked up a slew of tackles. He had a pretty good game by PFF standards. I believe his, 4 tackles. And they graded him fairly well, but our run defense was still putrid, so it didn't amount to much. But Cam Young, I mean, to me, his ceiling is just like a rotational backup nose tackle. I don't see that much with him to be excited about, but you need players like him, some points on your roster, to be, playable, to sub in for maybe 15 snaps a game. And I saw enough from him this year to believe he could be that guy. We're going to have to find out about Mike Morris next year, obviously. Nothing really going this year at linebacker. Drake Thomas made like 1 special teams tackle and then hit IR, so I got nothing there. Edge rusher is where things really do pick up, though. Boye Mafe had a decent game against the Cardinals, I think. Grade dropped a tiny bit, but it still ends up in a good place. Nice improvement over last year. He had a QB pressure in this game. He picked up a few tackles. And I would say that Boye Mafe is definitely trending in the right direction for this team. Now, Derek Hall, not so much. He did have a QB pressure in this game, I believe. 3 tackles. Played a little bit more, did some stuff, but on the whole, he's still kind of just generally speaking a little bit lost. So Derek Hall, kind of not so optimistic about him right now, but it's early. We're going to have to find out more next season. We're just going to have to wait and see on Derek Hall in 2024. But this is not a bad foundation to build on in terms of young edges. Boye Mafe, he's not young anymore, but he has blossomed into the kind of player we were hoping he would be at his peak, and he's only in year 2. Going into next year, the 3rd year of that rookie deal, he could maybe take another step up and become like a Pro Bowler. He could become like a 12-sack-a-year guy, potentially. He got 9, and he was not in fortuitous situations down the stretch because Nwosu got hurt. And then you got Derek Hall, who we'll find out next year. Right now, I can't say anything about him because he didn't play well this year, but that's a guy on a rookie deal. He's on that deal for 3 more years, and there's clearly potential there. We just need to unlock it. Now, cornerback is where things really get fun. Woolen did not play a very good game against the Cardinals. He gave up the touchdown. I don't really think the touchdown was his fault. That was either a terrible call by the referee or a really good trick by the Cardinals offense, depending on who you ask. And at the end of the day, I understand that there's some frustration with Woolen. I understand there are some problems there. And I know he's lost some people. This is still a good player who has the potential to be much, much better than he is. I am nowhere near giving up on Rico, and I don't think any of you guys should either. So, in this game, he didn't do anything particularly notable. 3 tackles, that's about it. Gave up the touchdown that wasn't really his fault. He kind of showed a little bit of weakness on a couple opportunities where he had to make a tackle, which I get it. But this is still a guy that a lot of teams would really like to have. A guy making peanuts on a 5th-round rookie deal who is this high level in coverage. And then you had Devin Witherspoon, who had a monster game against the Cardinals. This guy's the envy of all teams out there that want a young cornerback in this league right now. He's only going to get better. 11 tackles, 3 for a loss, and was all over the place in run defense. Just awesome, awesome stuff from Witherspoon. He might have been our best player. Not only in that game, but maybe the whole season. So we are still cooking in terms of young talent at the cornerback position. There is a great foundation we can build on here. Even if Woolen doesn't turn it around, Witherspoon alone is worth a lot. Kobe Bryant, not much to say there. He didn't play that much this year, but when he did, I suspect we're going to have to move him to safety if we want to do anything with Kobe. But yeah, that didn't work very well this year. And Jarek Reed got hurt forever ago, so nothing to say there. But yeah, this is a good young foundation. We have young players on this team that are fun, exciting, interesting. This is not like 2 years ago when we didn't have any of those guys and we were completely leaning on our veterans to basically carry us. And we're looking to lean on our veterans to carry us going forward for the next several years. Then we make the Wilson trade and look at it. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. That is your final Youth Watch Tuesday of the season. We've still got a nice foundation to build on, people. Build out the interior offensive line. Get some defensive linemen and linebackers in here. Maybe add a safety. It's as good as it gets across the entire NFL. Maybe you need to add a quarterback, but we'll talk about that later. All right, see you guys later.